Brave New World. Championship weekend gets an infusion of new blood. Say hello, handsome, to Yale and Albany.
After the last 4 disappointments on this stage,
Albany suffers a heartbreaker.
when that final whistle blew, what'd you feel?
It was just, I don't know. It's speechless, man. It was 13 seconds. We were just like, we're going, you know, we finally did it.
Don't lie to me. How does this feel?
I don't even know yet. We're excited to be here for another week, and feels pretty good.
The Yale Bulldogs are headed to championship weekend for the first time since 1990. The quarterfinal was the obstacle for Albany in 3 of the last 4 years. Not this year. They can sense it on the Great Dane sideline. The Dane train ships up to Boston. Boys, 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh, beautiful for Patriot skies on this Memorial Day weekend. It's Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, playing host to championship weekend. It's wedding season. We look for something old and something new. You want something old? How about Maryland and Duke? 2 championship weekend mainstays this decade. Something new, fresh faces in Yale and Albany. And with that, good afternoon, Anish Shroff alongside the former Johns Hopkins All-American Quint Kesnick. First trip to the semis for Yale since 1990. First trip to the semis for Albany in program history. But if you followed lacrosse the last few years, both programs have been building toward this moment.
Wedding crashers. This Albany roster is different, Anish. They feature, it's a state school, first of all, and they feature 7 Native Americans. And they pay tribute to the creator, the origins of this game, a medicine game, a game played for the enjoyment. They play fast, positivity, and they have a lot of fun. Meanwhile, Yale, big, strong, fast. These guys are scary coming off the bus. They'll hit you good. This isn't the typical Ivy League team.
And Yale has an all-time talent in Ben Reeves and perhaps the consummate student athlete in all of college athletics.
Molecular and cellular biology major. He has graduated. Medical school is in his future. Right now, he dissects defense. Straight line speed, IQ, and vision. And now as a senior, leadership, taking his team to the big dance.
Reeves is Yale's all-time leader in goals, assists, and points. Paul Carcaterra down on the field. Connor Fields has a few points to his name as well, Paul.
Not kidding, Anish. And if you like offense, hop on the Dane train. And it starts with their senior leader, Connor Fields, who's second all-time in NCAA history in overall points. He banged up his right knee about 2 months ago, but regardless, his vision and his lefty sniping ability is off the charts, and it doesn't stop with him. Enter the outlier. That would be freshman Dehoga Nanako, 6'1", 230 pounds from Six Nations, Ontario. He's a combination of amazing hands and brute force. Get in his way, he will absolutely truck you. When Fields finds Nanako, it's money in the bank.
Nanako, the #1 player coming out of high school, and he's been the best offensive freshman in college lacrosse, the America East Rookie of the Year, 7 goals in this NCAA tournament. Scott Marr, the Albany head coach, channeling the creator's game. 2 Native American tattoos on his back, a 6-time America East Coach of the Year, and a former teammate of Quint Kesnick's.
Scotty was a great teammate, and you see his ability to connect with individuals. We don't harp on mistakes. He has that next play mentality.
Yale's head coach, Andy Shea, one of 7 children, a mechanical engineering major. His first trip to championship weekend as a player, as a coach, as a fan. First time experience for the Yale head coach. These 2 teams met in the regular season, and Yale won big 14-6 Talking to the Albany coaches yesterday, they feel the Bulldogs didn't get anything close to the best version of the Great Danes. And the face-off battle was one that Yale dominated last month. Connor Mackey and T.D. Erlin. Erlin's 81% win percentage at the X would be the highest in Division I history in one season if it can hold up.
Got all sorts of dancing going on now as these wing players try to match up prior to that face-off.
Mackey won 13 out of 21 against Erlin the first time out. Erlin held his own last week against the great Trevor Baptiste of Denver. And championship weekend underway. The Wings getting involved on the opening faceoff. And out of the scramble, it was Kyle McClancy for a moment. And now Troy Ray controls, and the Great Danes will attack first. It's an Albany team that leads the nation in goals per game. Sometimes they'll slow it down in the 6-on-6, but they have the capacity to go at warp speed. And Albany will be shooting on the freshman goalie, Jack Starr. It's been an up-and-down season for Starr, but when he plays well, Yale is nearly unbeatable. Connor Fields controlling for Albany, and Fields, second all-time in points at the Division I level, turns it over. And it's Yale with the ball.
Nerves and jitters will be apparent the first 5 minutes of this game. This is a new stage for both teams. You want to get a touch, you want to make a hit, you want to get checked on the arms, settle down, and then put that adrenaline to use.
In goal for Albany, they call him Joey Bagels, a first-team All-American, Joseph Daniel Colarusso. This Yale team had a turn at #1 in the country, just like Albany, as Joey Sessa controls, and now Jack Ty, junior from Long Island. Bulldogs ranked 4th in goals per game. Sessa to the cage, over to Jackson Morrill. There's John Danigelis, 2 goals last week in the quarters. A rain-soaked win against Loyola, and Danigelis gets Yale on the board first.
Yale has been utilizing depth of contribution on offense this year. We introduced you to Ben Reeves, but when they're playing well, it's midfielders like Danigelis. Watch him back and forth, to the middle, then left-handed. One more time to the middle. Beats Colarusso, low lefty corner.
Mackey wins this one, tries to clear it back. And Jason Alessi, the 2-sport star at Yale, also played football. He was a defensive back and his special teams ace. Second midfield gets a run here for Yale. Lucas Kotler. And Albany right now trying to take away Ben Reeves, number 2 in blue. Here comes Morrill, 7 goals in round 1. Jackson Morrill makes it 2-0 Yale.
Here's the deal. With so much attention on the Tewaaraton finalist Ben Reeves and now these emerging midfielders, Jackson Morrill, 15 in blue, will have every opportunity to dodge against the Albany defense without a slide. It's mano-a-mano, and he capitalizes.
He is the ultimate Robin to Batman, the wingman. And you see DeLuey, 37 in white, take an over-aggressive approach. Morrill capitalizes.
Father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all in the Lacrosse Hall of Fame. All played at Johns Hopkins, and great-grandfather Kelso was a Blue Jays head coach.
Jackson does a little bit of everything. You know, one week he's a feeder, the next week he's a finisher. You know, coming off a 7-goal performance earlier this month. Ground ball guy, it's a little bit of everything.
Only a sophomore. Mackey, and Yale has won 2 out of 3 at the dot.
Mackey is a beast. 6'1", 215. I think that's a little on the light side. He is a monster. He's had a great year at 65%.
It's a Yale team with 6 MLL draft picks, the most in Division I, as we take a look at the Eli's keys from Quint.
BFS, it's bigger, faster, stronger, and that's got to correlate to ground ball success. And then complementary midfield scoring.
Here's Ben Reeves, the first touch. Reeves, a bouncer, and it squeaks past Colarusso. And early on, this looks like a redux of what we saw in April.
Yale winning every individual matchup. Right now, Albany's defense has got to regroup and figure out how they're going to defend these Dodgers. You've got 3 unassisted goals. Danigelis, Morrill, and now the superstar Ben Reeves. He presses left-handed, turns, beats Colarusso 5-hole.
Here's the concern. I'm not seeing a step from Colarusso, Quint. He is not exploding to the ball. He's on his back heels.
He's a first-team All-American. Had a great regular season. Only 42% in the playoffs, and what I'm not seeing, Clark, is movement of that top hand. He's locked up. He's got a tomahawk chop, that top hand, to get the head of his stick down low.
Yale has won 3 of the first 4 faceoffs. Here comes Alessi, sprinting all the way down. Alessi, and that one finally turned away. Reeves picks up the ball in the scramble, feeds the crease, Gaudet. A 4-0 blitz by the Yale Bulldogs.
Scotty Marr is going to have to call timeout for Albany before this game gets out of hand. Because off the bus, the Bulldogs are ready to bite. Mackey to himself gets some help from the speedy Alessi. He attacks in transition. It's chaos defensively for Albany. The guys in blue are flying around. And watch Reeves. He thinks about the shot right here. Eyes are up. And there's his partner in crime, Matt Gaudet, the Undertaker.
32nd goal of the season for the Canadian Matt Gaudet. Less than 5 minutes in, all Yale.
The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships is brought to you by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Albany just didn't have the energy, and all the advanced statistics favored Yale as well.
Yeah, the ground ball totals were off the charts. You know, Andy Shea told us this week, we beat them. They were undermanned both physically and emotionally. Remember, Albany had played Friday. They had a 50th anniversary celebration of their program Saturday. They busted New Haven, and they got ambushed.
And Clark, after this game, T.D. Erlin went back to the drawing board as a face-off man to figure out what he had to do differently against bigger physical opponents.
Well, last week against Trevor Baptiste, who outweighed him by 40 pounds, you're not going to win the leverage game on just the clamp alone. He's got to get that left leg out. He's got to pivot it once he clamps to gain some leverage against a guy like Mackey, who's 40 pounds heavier. So watch the left leg here.
Face-off violation against Yale. That's 1-3, and Albany gets a 30-second extra man opportunity. Albany did not get a shot after winning the opening face-off. And the Great Danes will set up offensively. First trip to championship weekend in program history. You wonder if the nerves got to Albany early. Clark, what are your keys for the Great Danes?
3 and out. This team flourishes when they move the ball at hyper speed. And then force Reeves to his left. Ben Reeves, sensational when he has the ball in his left hand. Creates offense on his own. He's a feeder at a much higher level.
There is Dehoga Nanticoke, the freshman. They'll skip it over to Kyle McClancy, whose shot is high. And Albany, I guess, was closer to the ball.
Jerry O'Connor, 17 in blue, draws Nanticoke. And they put the freshman Chris Fake on Connor Fields. 5 points.
Patterson setting the pick for Eccles. Now McClancy to Justin Ray. Ray with a 33-game point streak. Played well in the win against from Washington, D.C. And a good early sign for Yale.
Yale puts a pole on Kyle McClancy, which forces Jacob Patterson, 17 and white, to be the main primary dodger. It's going to be a key matchup. He against Warner.
Yale turns it over on the clear. McClancy, a terrific two-way player.
He's a cyborg, Anish. The guy will log major miles, rarely gets tired.
McClancy has it now. Was all set to go to Division III Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute before a recruiting visit to Albany changed his mind. Was going to study engineering there. Patterson coming off a hat trick. Now Ray. Yale steadfast defensively. McClancy matched up on Tyler Warner, one of the best short stick D-middies in the country. Not a lot of weaknesses on this Yale Bulldog team.
Not a lot of weaknesses on this Albany offensive set when they roll their 6 best guys out.
Connor Fields, his shot was blocked. And now Yale pushing transition. Warner. Jackson Morrill sizing up Eric DeLuey, 37 in white. Injured last week in the quarterfinals against Denver. Healthy enough to start today.
Yale had all sorts of success in the regular season win over the Great Danes. Attacking with midfield wing dodges, and that's from the sides, not from directly up top.
Morrill and Cecil, little two-man game. Now Ty. Jack Ty too high. First team All-Ivy League selection from Garden City, New York. Morrill. 5-0 Yale.
Change of direction and then acceleration. Morrill has had the breakout sophomore season. He has spent hours in the weight room. He put on 15 pounds of muscle. Highly recruited, coming out of the Baltimore area, number 23 in the country on the inside lacrosse top 100. This isn't just a simple dodge. DeLuey loses a step. He's strong, he's assertive, and he takes that extra step to greatness.
The slide is late, and Albany has to make a decision. Are we guarding Jackson Morrill as a dangerous dodging threat or not? And the answer early is no, and he's burning them.
Second goal for Morrill. Face-off violation on TD Erlin, so one face-off violation on each team. It's been the perfect start for Yale and the perfect storm for Albany.
Tell you, this Yale team has stayed in personality. Had the chance to watch them practice back in March on campus. They're intense, focused group, smart kids. They got some personality though. You need to watch the end of their practice. They're throwing their sticks like.
Goal is good. That would be Troy Ray, the heartbeat of this Albany defense. And I'll tell you what, when you watch Yale on tape, early leads become a feeding frenzy. This is an emotional team who's confident. They're senior-driven with 6 seniors drafted in Major League Lacrosse. So you feel this fire, watch out.
And the Dane train is off the tracks right now. That's a simple play where Reeves scoops up a ground ball. We got to call numbers. We have to communicate. No one checks up on Gaudet.
One of the best finishers in the country.
Let's go left. A little bit more left.
Andy Shea told us last week before the quarterfinal game against Loyola that this program took the next step when they focused on themselves. And he said there was a decision made a few years ago. Stop worrying about the opponent as T.D. Erwin fires wide. And to focus on fundamentals, focus on improving the team every week. And he credits that philosophy for Yale's success in the Ivy over the last 6-7 years. Albany, you get the sense, if they don't get a couple of goals here to try to stem the tide, this game might be over after a quarter.
Look at Nanacoke right now with the ball. I think physically this is the matchup for Albany. He outweighs O'Connor, 17 in blue, by about 30 pounds. And Nanacoke, physicality is a bear for any defender in terms of how he uses that leverage.
Josh Egan now for Albany. And now back to even strength. So Albany waiting to get their 6th player back on offense. "85 degrees on this Saturday afternoon here in Foxborough, Massachusetts."
Jacob Patterson's going to be the guy here now, 17 in white.
Sophomore who grew up in Buffalo, moved to Arizona. Patterson looking to feed McClancy, passes knocked down. Here come the Bulldogs. Jerry O'Connor, the long pole, feeding the wing, Moore. And Yale will retreat.
Nice defense by Deliri, 37 in white, in terms of his angle play.
Now Reeves behind the cage. Winner of the Enners Award that goes to the most outstanding player in college lacrosse. 11th time the Enners Award winner has gone on to win the Tewaaraton. Danagelis, he had 2 goals against Albany in the first meeting. Now back to Reeves, guarded by Stone Sims. Reeves, that's a sweet spot. The 2nd goal by Ben Reeves. And Albany has nothing right now to stop this Yale onslaught.
Albany's going to have to make a change in net, because Colarusso's not seeing it and not reacting strong with that top hand. This is a nightmare scenario for Scott Marr. Offensively, you've had 3 turnovers. You've had a bunch of blocked shots. They've led to runouts and quality possessions on the other end. This is not horrible defense. Reeves will take this outside shot with an approach, and Colarusso's just got no answers right now between the pipes. Gets a piece of that, and that's tough luck, as we see now a goalie change for the Great Danes.
0 saves for J.D. Colarusso, the senior. The 5th-year senior has been through so much with this program. This is a tough pill to swallow, but when Ben Reeves is stroking from the outside, I don't know how you stop this Yale offense, because you're so worried about him as a Dodger.
Nate Sikierski comes in for Colarusso, who was the Kelly Award winner, which goes to the best goalie in all of Division I. But Joey Bagels lit up for 7 goals. And there's still 4:34 to play in this first quarter. Mackey wins the draw. Yale relentless so far.
Yale's built for a hot day like today, I'll tell you that much. This is a team, I love their depth. It's something that people forecast this tournament. I believe they have the numbers that can win on Memorial Day.
Here comes Alessi as it dislodged. And the ground ball picked up by Morrill. Yale just quicker to those 50-50 balls early on. But forced now. Yale using its depth. The freshman, the junior added with 3 goals this season. 43 in blue, forced. Tevlin, the freshman from Livingston, New Jersey. Shot and a save by Sikierski. And an applause from the Albany contingent. Now this Valkyrian ride by Yale. Albany had 5 failed clears in the regular season against Yale. Justin Ray with a nice catch in traffic as Albany is able to touch up. It's been such a weapon for Yale. Here comes Eccles. And Albany finally on the board.
Got to get the first one to get the party started, but Sikierski right off the bench, ice cold with no warm-up, making that first save is critical. But Eccles on the other side, he's the forgotten man in this Albany offense. You hear about Fields, Nanico, Patterson. This guy's been spraying it with the left hand. He's got incredible range and makes you force the perimeter in terms of your approaches defensively, and then he lets it fly.
Former hockey player has got that vicious sidearm release.
Love off the line.
Eccles a hat trick in the first round win against Richmond, and then again last week in the quarterfinal victory against Denver. Officials today: Tom Sutton, Jeff Thibodeau, Joe Cieslak.
There's a lot more maintenance of the draw going on this week than we saw a week ago in Hofstra. Last week they put the ball down and let Baptiste and Irwin fight it out. Here, there's all sorts of adjustment of the head.
Irwin and Mackey battling. Mackey had it for a moment, lost it, and it will be Albany ball. Yale opened this game on a 7-0 run before the Sean Eccles goal got Albany on the board. Great Danes can score quickly, but they were unable to slow down Yale. Here comes Justin Ray. Now Patterson against Warner. Patterson thought about it.
Albany's best comeback this year at Maryland. Early in the year, they're down 8-3. They're down 5 goals. End up winning that game.
Down 5 in the second half. McClancy. A nice job by Chris Fake, the freshman of the year in the Ivy League, to play it back to the goalie. 90 seconds to go in the opening quarter. One dominated by the Bulldogs. That opening blitz by Yale, Quint, I think it takes the crowd out of it a little too. We got the sense leading up to this weekend, Albany was the people's champion in a lot of ways. The casual fan without a dog in the fight, they were pulling for the Great Danes.
You could see the reaction on Eccles' goal. This place lit up. They're a fan favorite for many reasons. You know, the makeup of the roster, gritty and blue collar, the Native American flavor. When they're clicking, they're playing fast and having fun. They need a spark right now.
Shot clock against Yale, so 30 seconds to get a shot on goal. Here comes Kotler. Gets the short stick Bergmaster. This one comes to the cage. Gaudette pops it in. Was he in the crease or not? Or was he pushed in? There's a flag down.
No foul on the play. We had a loose ball. Push. No foul.
So the goal is wiped out. Take another look. Where is Gaudette? That's close, Quint. That's closer on the replay than I thought it was.
I think they got that wrong, Anish.
He's got to be grounded.
His feet
He
were
has to be grounded.
He was pushed, and the ball goes in the goal. To me, that looks like a push with possession, which, and right now I see 6 Albany defenders.
I thought it was obvious the goal was no good. I understand that. We're fine. We're not going anywhere until it's up on the board anyway.
So it's a push with possession.
Let me know when you're ready.
Am I allowed to step out on the field like he does out like 5 or 6 yards?
And the key there is Gaudette has to be grounded outside of the crease until the ball crosses the goal line and into the goal. So a man-up opportunity for Yale. Here comes Kotler. Over to Reeves. Now Morrill. Matt Gaudette's got a couple of goals. His skip pass intercepted by Ray. And that's a big play for Albany as we go to the end of quarter number 1. The opening 15 minutes belong.
To win a national championship would be unbelievable.
Obviously, growing up, you look up to winning the national championship.
I think it would mean the most for the guys who built this program up from the ground.
All the alumni that have worked so hard to create the culture, the brand of Yale lacrosse.
It's been an unbelievable ride.
Yale off to a great start, a 7-1 lead, and moments ago, Paul Carcaterra caught up with Bulldogs head coach Andy Shea.
Coach, what do you attribute this quick start to?
Well, Mackey's winning face-offs, and we're moving the ball really well, and we know it's going to be a long game. It's a great start, but it's going to be a long game.
When you play an offense like Albany, what concerns you most?
Oh, we just got to make sure we got our matchups. The one time they came down, we didn't match up. We were in our ride, and we couldn't match up in time, and that's an error. In that moment, we're kind of vulnerable, but we got to match up quicker.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Connor Mackey, 5 for 9 on faceoffs in that first quarter, but I guess there's a little issue with the hand right now.
There is. The last faceoff he took, he got crushed on his right wrist in regards to that top hand. That's everything in faceoffs. He can't put much pressure on it. He was screaming in pain, and additionally had a lot of ice on it. So his status right now, moving forward, and you heard Coach Andy Shea attribute Mackey to the fast start, is up in the air.
Tell you, that right arm of a Fogo takes a beating. Connor's a kid who's had shoulder surgery. He's also dealt with a wrist injury earlier this season.
No face-off to begin the second quarter. Albany had possession. LaClancy will dance behind the cage, marked by Danagelis. Comes the second-team All-American. An energizer bunny for this Albany team. Over to Eccles. Patterson, saved by Starr. Rebound loose, taken by Yale. A great job holding onto it by Chris Keating, the senior, a third-team All-American. Yale the other way. Morrill on the doorstep. Gaudette's got the hat trick. And it's 8-1 Eli's.
This is sensational team lacrosse. The Bulldogs can play fast tempo. They rank 19th in pace. It starts with a save. Jack Starr, the freshman from DC. He's explosive. He was terrific in the quarterfinal win over Loyola. How about that ground ball? Wow, what a play. Chris Keating, are you kidding me? He pulls that ball out of traffic, and then the fastest guy in the team, Robert Mooney, typical fast break. Yale keeps it simple, and then they celebrate.
Watch the right wrist of Connor Mackey right now, gentlemen. That is the wrist that was taped up that took a beating. He wasn't going to take this face-off in the last second. They taped him in time. He's out here.
Will Weitzel, a long pole, was at the X before Mackey took his spot. Erlin wins this one. Albany can go. Here comes T.D. Erlin. And that might be the momentum goal that gets the Dane train back on track.
T.D. knows what's up. He saw Mackey stroll out at the last second. When you're a face-off guy, you're staring right at the top wrist of the opposition. That's taped up. The quickness and the strength handicap for Mackey, and TD right down the alley. And this is the strength of TD's. He's not just a guy that faces off and has to get off the field. Has good skills and blazing speed.
81% sophomore, record-setting season.
We're not going to talk all day about the line, all right? You're getting to the end.
Erlin on pace to break the single-season record for face-off win percentage.
Set.
That was his 6th goal of the season. Mackey able to win this one and then turns it over. The pendulum starting to swing toward the team in white. And Clark, what kind of a game changer is Mackey's injury?
Everything. He's a third-team All-American behind Trevor Baptiste and T.D. Erlin. And he's a beast in the middle of the field in regards to just how physical he is. And you know what? They don't have an option two. You saw what was going to happen. They were going to roll out Will Weitzel as a long pole just to muck it up. So he's the lifeline of this team.
Coming in this game, Clark, he's taken over 400 faceoffs, 404. The rest of the team, they've taken 40. So they have relied on him.
Weitzel had only taken 8. Connor Fields, he's been quiet so far against Chris Fake. Fields, second all-time in points at the Division I level. Eccles shooting wide, and Alex Bergmaster there to back up. You'll see both Bergmaster brothers, Alex and older brother Jack. Albany also has a pair of twins in Justin and Troy Ray.
Referees putting the goal back on the line.
Connor Fields, a terrific hockey player growing up. Marked by Chris Fake. A second-team All-American as a freshman. Good defense by Fake. Fake knocks it loose. And Eccles recovers for Albany. Here comes Fields. Skips one. Bergmaster, saved by Starr.
Brilliant look by Fields off that ground ball scramble.
Will Renz, the sophomore, up ahead for Yale.
Left side of your screen, watch the work of Jack Starr. Explosive freshman from Washington, D.C. 51% this year in Bulldog wins, 36% in their 3 losses. He looked great last week.
Joey Sessa, another tally for Yale.
Albany's defense is in disarray right now. Looked like they played some zone at that end of the first quarter. There's no communication. Nobody's taking responsibility for their man with the ball. And Sessa's got great quickness at 5'5" and a wonderful explosion right here. He gets underneath. There's no help, but he finds the far post. Too easy, Cart.
Sessa is a big-time lefty, scouted as a lefty. They are inviting him to go down the alley right-handed and sticks it to him. Sessa undersized but built like a fire hydrant, and the strength and the quickness, you could argue being that small is an advantage because the approach of opposing defenses, very difficult to play the leverage game.
He's got calves almost as big as you.
He's got some work to do on that end, Q. You know that.
We start seeing Sessa with capri pants. We know he's been working the calf game. Erlin over to Jack Bergmaster now. 9-2, Yale on top. Still more than 11 minutes to go in this first half. Yale won the regular season meeting 14-6 in New Haven.
If you're Albany right now, you have to play this game in segments. Just focus on the next 5 minutes and picking up a goal or two. You can't take the giant tree down with one swing. You got to keep chopping.
Jerry O'Connor all over DeHogan Nanticoke. Here comes the freshman. And that was Nanticoke's first shot. He and Fields without a point. And in that first meeting, when Fields got hurt, we saw Chris Fake on Nanticoke, who was held without a point and was 0 for 9 shooting.
He's an ox. He's a bulldozer. #1 recruit in the country. Been growing that braid since he was 10 or 11 years old. Learned the game through his older brother.
Chauncey would shoot on Nanticoke in the driveway. And DeHogan told us he had 3 options. Either get hit in the head, get yelled at because the ball hit the garage, or catch it. Fields draws the slide. Ray able to save it from going out of bounds. No rhythm to this offense for Albany in settled sets.
That's been the challenge since Fields came back from that knee injury. Scotty Marr telling Connor, you have to fit into our offense.
Skip pass, Eccles, top shelf. Second goal for Eccles, it's 9-3.
Fields would dominate possession time. And because of his injury, this team has really developed more snappy passing. This is a great look from Ray. He presses the corner, the defense sloughs in, and Eccles will take what you give. He's in a nice posture to catch, reset his feet, and let it go. And one thing, Paul, we've seen in the postseason, Sean Eccles can't miss.
What placement, too, when you think about Eccles. When you score 30 goals at the midfield, you are real. And he's such a compliment to the rest of this Great Dane offense based on the fact that he is the big-time stretch shooter. He allows everyone else to operate in tight quarters because you have to press out against this guy, and if you don't, he stings top Chiefs.
Second face-off violation on Yale. One more this half, and Albany gets a 30-second man up. Face-off violations reset at halftime.
Significant, because Mackey has to be disciplined and slow on the whistle now.
Don't forget the championship game of the men's lacrosse tournament, Monday, 1 Eastern on ESPN2. Clark, you get the sense if Mackey is battling that wrist injury, now make it take it is an avenue for a comeback for Albany.
It's completely in the realm of possibility. I mean, T.D. Erlin's an 80% plus face-off guy, and you take out Mackey, there's no option B for Yale. And on the other side, Quint, J.D. Colaruso's back in net.
Here comes Fields against Keating. Fields scores!
You're starting to see the energy on the bench. in the stands. There's life, there's a spark. Watch the body control, the ability to deal with contact. Fields was an excellent youth hockey player. He's played a ton of indoor lacrosse right there. He's patient with the ball in his cross and takes that shot as he falls to the turf.
What poise. The heart of a lion, the senior captain, playing on one leg. He can play on one leg. He still has the hands, the stick skills of complete greatness.
Timeout by Yale. Andy Shea wants to dull some of that Albany momentum. It's still a 5-goal lead for the Elis, but the Dane train getting back on track.
Welcome back to Gillette. It's been all Yale up 9-4 on the Great Danes of Albany, but don't count out a Scott Marr offense when they have talent. And boy, did they have talent when the Thompsons were up in Albany. The flair for the dramatic was incredible. The creativity off the charts. Quickness, skill, and passion and respect for the game reigned supreme with Miles and Lyle Thompson, who shared the Tewaaraton in 2014, the Heisman Trophy of college lacrosse, and Lyle won it himself in 2015. And I'm joined by these two legends, Miles and Lyle Thompson. And Scott Marr told us, when you arrived on campus a year before Lyle, Albany lacrosse changed. Why did you have the faith in this program and Scott Marr?
You know, just the way he approached me. He was more than a coach to me. You know, he was a friend right from the start, and you know, that's what made the difference. He brings this team as like a family.
This is the creator's game. You guys play for the history of the game. How does Albany and the style that they play connect to that aspect, Lyle?
Honestly, all parts of it. You know, the way Coach Marr coaches, he lets us play free, and that's just the way we all grew up playing. You look at the Hoga and a lot of these Native American players on this team now. That's the way we played our whole lives.
Jack Bergmaster, we referenced it a moment ago. Make it, take it. Erlin wins the faceoff, and just like that, it's a 3-0 run by Albany.
TD has won 6 of the last 7 faceoffs. He's in a groove. He's found his flow. He's off to the races, but is smart enough to find the trailer. Bergmeister with the rip.
Back down to Kark.
Lyle knows a thing or two about this offense, and he laid out for you for that goal call because he knows how quick the Great Danes can strike. You mentioned Dehoga Nanakoke, the future of this program. When you watch him play, what pops?
Excitement. I mean,
hands off the line.
He's creative. He's able to do anything with his stick, and that's what's so amazing about him, because he's not super fast. He's strong. He's got a big body. He knows how to use that, but the most impressive thing is his stick.
He plays the leverage game a lot like you do. And Miles, last question here. You look at the scoreboard, it's 9-5. Why is the Dane train still alive in this game?
They're dangerous. You know, you can never count them out, especially with the power offense that they have. They can put in goals just as quick as, you know, Yale did in the beginning.
You guys are awesome. You've been so great for the sport, and want to thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
The great Lyle and Miles Thompson. They shared the Tewaaraton Award a few years ago. That season, Lyle set the single-season points record. Miles tied John Reese's single-season record for goals.
Miles picking Albany was the turning point in program history.
No question.
2009, I believe.
Kotler. Picked up by Perla. Danagelis probing.
Albany back to their man-to-man defense.
Morrell's got the short stick. Egan. Morrell feeding Gaudette. 4 goals for Matt Gaudette, who had 7 just a few weeks ago in the Ivy League tournament.
The righty from Ontario is always on the move in the slot area, staying a step ahead of the defense. Working with Reeves on the near post, able to catch in traffic, take a beating, and finish. Terrific mid-range shooter who cans about 35% of his shots, straight over the top. And he's got a certain intensity and look. We call him the Undertaker.
He's the last guy you want to leave alone, Anish and Quinn. You can't leave him on the inside. He's automatic.
Sophomore from Canada. Looks like the Undertaker.
He went early. 11.
I got it, Joe. I got it. What do you got?
Looks like a man of the Night's Watch. We get a flag down, third face-off violation.
Ball's on blue for the legal procedure. Third face-off violation. 44 blue, the in-home will serve the penalty.
Albany will have a 30-second man up.
Good look at Connor Mackey on the right with that clamp technique. Just beat the whistle. And you want to be whistle ready, but you have to show great poise and patience.
Yale led 7-0. It's a 10-5 game. That one was checked away from Patterson. Mooney picks up the ground ball for Yale.
Wow, they press out on the man down, Anish. An aggressive strategy. Aiden Hines, 47 in blue. Mooney, their fastest player on the team, 28. And it caught Albany off guard. Many times on an extra man, the guys will be flat-footed. You press out and jump and you strike. Generate that turnover.
Championship chat featuring Patriots head coach Bill Belichick and lacrosse champion Paul Rabel, hosted by our own Paul Carcaterra. You can watch it tonight, Championship Chat on ESPNU at 8 p.m. Ten goals in this first half for Yale. Still more than 6 minutes to go. Tevlin thought about it. Ben Reeves, 2 goals, 2 assists. Yale's all-time leader in goals, assists, and points. Eli's shooting 10 of 14. Alessi, goal tip, does it again! I know Colarusso's back in the goal, but is that the right answer for Albany right now?
This is the last guy you want to slide to. In all due respect to Jason Alessi, he shoots 13%. Make him beat you as a dodging midfielder who's looking to score. Instead, they slide way too early. He's not beat. He's not known as a shooter. And now you give it to the guy who's absolutely automatic. I don't get it.
Matt Perla, 34 in white, leaves Gaudet. He finds the soft spot, and what an amazing finish, Anish. It looked like he catches and shoots it, really just kind of sensing where the goal is.
I know you can't put that one completely on Colarusso, but he has not made a save today and has given up 9 goals.
Well, if Perla's going to go to Alessi there, defenders work in pairs or in a triangle. I've got to make sure that second slide is to Gaudet before I release upfield.
Erlin lost his stick, and that's going to be Yale ball. Danagelis inside the restraining line.
That's 3 violations, 3 face-off violations against Albany.
I'll find out. It's on the way out.
Stick went to the ground, the
Right.
ball was in it.
Thank you. Okay.
So that's not considered a face-off violation. It's a non-face-off vio. Connor Mackey is 215 pounds. We met him yesterday, and he's got a neck as big as Dick Butkus. I mean, he is a linebacker.
Great work by our cameraman. The stick broke, the ball was still lodged in the head of the stick. Here's Gaudet, 5 first half goals. Now Morrill has it knocked away. Morrow lost a glove. And it's Albany out of the scramble. DeLuey. Albany, normally a very good clearing team. They had trouble against Yale in the regular season meeting, just 13 out of 18 on clears. DeHogan Nanticoke has been quiet for Albany. Here's Alex Bergmaster, the freshman from Auburn, New York. Now Zach Wolf, he can't hold on. Fourth turnover for Albany. Here comes Yale. Morrow. Inside Gauthier, big save that time. The first of the afternoon.
Will get him going, the redshirt senior from Poughkeepsie. His dad, Joe, a former goalie at Yorktown High School. They call him the goalie whisperer. He came up to campus this week to shoot on his son. Left side of your screen. This is a kick save and a beaut. Colarusso, the older one, Joe, I think he works with Paul's older brother, Brian.
He did. Working him out this week.
Kotler to the cage. Stuffed by Colarusso again.
JD can get hot. Now, he's put up some big numbers this season. I thought his best game was game one, honestly, when he went up to the Carrier Dome and shut down the Orange. Had 19 saves when Albany lost to Yale in the regular season.
Problem was Yale had 49 shots. Nanticoke posting up. So strong. Now McClancy. Making his way on Tevlin. Over to Fields. Connor Fields, there's the skip pass. Ray looking for Nanticoke. Ball hits the ground. And it's picked up by Yale. Albany gets it back. Eccles waltzes in. McClancy. Eccles has 8 goals in this NCAA tournament.
Yale in his zone right now.
Forces the ground ball. Far sideline. And a turnover on the Great Danes.
Well played by Aiden Hines, 47 in blue. He felt pressure and he took a flop. Nice strategy, though, by Yale there. Sensing that the defense may have been tired, Anish. Andrew Baxter, their very, very talented defensive coordinator, goes to a zone. And, you know, your defense is tired. It's a great strategy. Watch Hines now. He gets that inside position, and Nanticoke runs up his back.
Basic ball transfers, though. Frightening for Albany right now. I mean, you saw it on the extra man. Didn't even get a shot off. Right there, the pass from Ray to Nanticoke. They are not playing clean.
Turnovers on their last 3 possessions. Sessa. That one hits Colarusso. And Albany wins the race to the far sideline. Closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds on a shot is who gets possession.
Blue, we're going to restart back there. We got to clear.
Timeout by Yale. 1:21 to go in the opening half. Eli's with a 6-goal lead as we check in with the studio. The settled offense.
Yeah, standing around.
Make sure everything was clear. So.
The card for the command center.
Exactly. You guys some cold water want some power. I got you there.
It's hot.
Everybody's done, right? He's trying to work.
So they let people bring in sticks.
I looked up.
Back here in Foxborough on ESPN2, you can also check out today's semifinals and our Command Center presentation available on the ESPN app. Here's how that last goal looked. Full-time sky cam on the left and traditional coverage on the right. The angle you prefer is at your command.
Albany's got one left.
Andy Shea calling that timeout, Anish. Yale has been known for their 10-man ride and their best mascot in the game with Handsome Dan.
Handsome Dan looking on. He's hungry for a trip to Memorial Day and a chance to play for a championship. We didn't have that Skycam footage for you, but hey, go to the app. We've got our Command Center coverage. There's Skycam. Paul, what do you have?
Let's go!
Well, you guys mentioned Yale known for that ride. There's very few teams in college lacrosse that part of their DNA is the ride, and it juices the entire team. Albany's well aware of that. They didn't clear the ball well in their first meeting in April, so Scott Marr and his staff have mustered up a few wrinkles in terms of their clearing game. So what you've seen from Albany clearing the ball in the past is not what you'll see now.
The Bulldogs are known for their 10-man ride. It's a full-court press, but the way they do it in East is a little different. They'll set up in a 3-4-3 formation and kind of back off the ball and try to condense the area on the opposite side of the midfield line to kind of smother the windows of opportunity for the clearing team.
To give you an idea how effective that ride has been, the last 9 opponents are clearing at less than 75% against Yale. Normally, teams clear 87, 88%, usually in the 90s. The good ones at least. Here's Morrill.
Bingo. Empty net can be enticing.
Yeah.
We saw Jake Pulver of Cornell score against this Yale team in the Ivy League championship game from what, 50 yards?
Less than a minute to go.
When you launch it, gentlemen, you don't want to shoot the ball with a bouncer. Shoot it high, because if you have the backup, you'll retain possession.
Yale offensively has had its way with Albany. 40 seconds to go in this opening half. It was 7-0 Yale at one point. And with less than 30 seconds, no shot clock, so Yale will hold for one. Here comes Danigella, swing dodge. Plays it back to Morrill. 3 assists in this half. Now Reeves. 3 top to Wharton, finalist with a bouncer. And Morrill there to back up, 5 seconds to go. Now Reeves will initiate. And we get a timeout by Scott Marr, who will use his final timeout of the half. 4.8 seconds to go. Introducing ESPN Plus, your home for more sports, more schools, more conferences, more ESPN. $4.99 a month, and we've said it throughout this NCAA tournament. If you're a lacrosse fan, the perfect app for you. If you're a Yale fan or a fan of the Ivy League Digital Network, part of what's included for only $4.99 a month.
It's been a rough first half for Albany coach Scott Marr when you fall down 7-0. Using a timeout here to make sure the damage doesn't get any further. 18th year, he took over this program. They were D3, then D2. 1 year of D1 when he took over in 2000, Anish, and the success that he's built there is really notable. Winning the conference title in 03 and 07, but they had some lean years.
And I thought that was what was most impressive about this run. There was a dip, and a lot of coaches, to be honest, don't survive the dip. He got Miles Thompson, and then Lyles, and Cousin Ty, and then DeHogan Nanticoke and Connor Fields. And the ascension of the Dane train has been fun to watch if you're a lacrosse fan. They have blended this fast-paced style. He told us everything they do is built on tempo and speed. with the elements, Kark, of fun permeating through everything.
Look at Albany taking the field right now. They're going to go into a zone defense, and the message from Liam Gleason, their defensive coordinator, get on the hands and do not allow any of these outside shooters to spray. And look for Yale to have a crossing pattern in the inside, almost like an X pattern type of offense where you see some of their inside players end up outside and the outside players end up in.
Defenders, listen to your goalie here. You're waiting on that check call. You're taking arms hard at the elbow.
Matt Gaudet, a terrific crease finisher, 44 in blue. Here's Reeves. Final seconds. Reeves. More! Got it! Put an exclamation point on the first half for Yale. A 12-goal tour de force. And the Eli's steamroll into the locker room with a 7-point lead.
This is an absolute stinger. You call timeout. You discuss what's going to happen. Look at Reeves, the acceleration, draws the double team. Perfect feed, seamless release from Morrill. Are you kidding me? Again. Boom. Stick the corner. I mean, that is an absolute dagger before halftime.
Quint, you know that inside pattern I was describing, right? Albany has to prepare for that.
You've got to be more physical. You've got to be more active with your feet defensively. You've got to hold, bite, scratch. You cannot let your man get the ball, period.
9/10 of a second is still on the clock.
Down. Go left. Set.
The first 30 minutes come to a close. The 7-goal lead by Yale matches its largest of the afternoon as we go down to Paul.
Coach, what's the biggest concern defensively?
Well, I mean, we're just giving up inside looks. I mean, 44 is having a field day, and we just got to, we're going to go to a different defense here, but, we just got to do a better job all over. We're not in their hands, and we're giving them good looks. We just got to do a better job.
You've always been a positive person, a positive coach. What gives you the belief that your team's still in this one?
Listen, we could have this same half coming in the second half. You know what I mean? It wasn't a great half for us, but 30 minutes, we could score 12 goals in 30 minutes, no problem. So, we can turn this right around.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Scott Maher hoping for a second half turnaround. Albany will need one of the great comebacks in the history of this tournament. Yale, 30 minutes away from playing on Memorial Day. To the studio now, Matt, Ryan, and Chris Cotter. From playing for a national championship for the first time since '83 alongside Quint Kesnick, Paul Carcaterra is down on the field. From the opening face-off to the final goal of that first half, pure domination by Andy Shea's team.
Absolutely, in every facet of that game. Now, a comeback for Albany hinges on a couple things. Make it take it lacrosse. You got to start winning some faceoffs. But more than that, there's got to be a transfer of energy in this building. Yale's got all the energy right now. Albany's got to do something to get that spark, to get this crowd into it, and to get that snowball rolling downhill. A transfer of energy.
Albany got back into this game. They were down 7-0, got to within 9-5, and then a stretch where they had 3 turnovers on 3 consecutive possessions, and the momentum went back to Yale.
It's been difficult to get in sync and to find rhythm for the Great Danes. Matt Gaudet has had a huge afternoon. He's got 4 goals, dominating inside the slot. Eyes are up. He's finding soft spots, and he's making all of his mid-range shots. Check that. He's got 5 goals in the first half. The Undertaker can't miss from close range. Now, Albany has struggled with their responsibilities. Matt Perla, you see him double team the ball. He's the hot man. But behind him, if you roll this now, behind him, someone has to inherit Gaudet. Nobody picks up 44. Those 2 defenders down on the pipes have got to have the second slide. They've got to support Perla. It's team defense.
First half stats brought to you by Old Spice. Yale has scored on 12 of its 21 shots. Albany pulled goalie J.D. Colarusso, a first-team All-American, in the first quarter. Colarusso then re-entered the game. Face-offs in favor of Albany, but Yale has dominated the ground balls and the scoreboard as we check in with Paul.
Yeah, gents, you're talking about the offense. How about this defense from Yale? It's been incredible. Andrew Baxter, their defensive coordinator, has done a fantastic job all season long, but today he just told me they are relying on the one-on-one matchups with their close defenders. So Albany's got these superstars in Nanticoke, 1 in white, and Fields, 5 in white. They are not sliding to these guys. They have so much faith in the matchups with Chris Fake and Jerry O'Connor. And this is a unit that's been doing it all season long. So to beat Yale, you need to beat your man.
The attack for Yale has been unstoppable. Ben Reeves, 2 goals, 3 assists. Gaudette with 5 goals. Jackson Morrill, 6 points in the first half, 3 goals, 3 assists.
Straight up.
And if Albany is going to make a comeback, they'll need T.D. Erlin. They've got to play make it, take it lacrosse.
Blue jump. Face-off violation this way.
And a face-off violation on Connor Mackey. 1 here in the second half. So Albany has it to begin the second half. 1 in white. Tehogan Nanticoke, quiet. He's got to get going if the Great Danes are to come back. First midfield on for Albany. McClancy, Eccles, and Patterson. Here's McClancy against Mooney. Nanticoke shut out in the first meeting against Yale back in April against O'Connor. Nanticoke with a missile wide.
See the way he used his body there, Anish. O'Connor pestering him with that check from distance. Nanticoke gets to his body and just folds him.
Patterson against Warner, now picked up by Keating. Tyler Warner, such a defensive game changer for Yale, a short stick D midi. But he's often able to survive against some pretty good attacking
Here
midfielders.
he is right now. 5 against 5. 5 in blue is Warner. Baldwin High School, Long Island. Going to go to med school after working in New York City at a hospital.
Staying with Fields. Connor Fields, now doubled.
Look at him. Look how good that is.
Fields gets away. Feeds Nanticoke. And Fields got laid out. And flags are down. Albany will go man up.
Let's see if this is more than a minute.
You're down 1 lock. You got 4. You got him high.
Scott Marr wants an unreleasable penalty. The hands in the air together.
Falls on blue. Number 4. That's a 1-minute illegal body check to the head. That's a full-time serve penalty.
Back here.
So an unreleasable penalty means even if Albany scores within, let's say, the first 20 seconds, that penalty is not released. It'll be for a full minute.
Talked about their physicality. It looked clean to me, kind of turned his shoulders and his hips. It was late, though, because Fields had given up the ball. Wasn't high. This team will bang you.
17 in white, Jacob Patterson leading the nation with 11 man-up goals. He's got it now. Nanticoke. Eccles, back to McClancy. Patterson on the wing. Connor Fields. There's still 30 seconds left on the extra man for Albany. A goal for the Danes, and they'll now face off 6-on-5.
Anish, you mentioned Jacob Patterson leads the Danes in extra man goals. So what that does is it forces Yale to press on 17 white in the perimeter. He shows Connor Fields, follows where the rotation is going in the lefty, who's made a living. Freshman year, played with Lyle Thompson, 70-plus goals, then emerged as a dual threat attackman. But at the end of the day, he's money from the left side.
And now if Albany wins this faceoff, again, with the extra man for the full minute, a chance to dig into this deficit.
Blue, go to your right a hair. Good.
Erlin pops it out clean. Over to McClancy. 20 seconds left on the extra man for Albany. If they get 2 goals out of this, that would be a significant momentum swing early in this third quarter. 5 seconds on the man up. McClancy over to Fields. Fields fires and scores! Some life on the Great Danes bench. And an early extra man opportunity. 1 minute unreleasable leads to 2 Albany goals.
That's the energy transfer in this building. Fields from range. Left-handed snipe. Bench erupts. Spark is lit. Crowd into this game, and all of a sudden now, game on. The bouncer beating the freshman.
Connor Fields now 1 goal away from becoming the 3rd player in Division I to reach that 200 goal mark. Sitting at 199.
Buffalo native.
Hockey player, that was a slap shot.
Player used to cross the border and play box lacrosse at Fort Erie. He's a member of Team Canada's roster of 34.
We're going to see the all-time leading scorer in Division I and our second semifinal.
Nothing.
Duke's Justin Gutterding. A procedure call against Yale, so Albany's got it. 2 early goals here in this third quarter. Largest lead for Yale today was 7. Bulldogs led 7-0, then 9-2, and then 12-5 at halftime. Albany got it to 9-5 in the first quarter before a 3-goal blitz by Yale going into halftime. McClancy against Mooney, now Fields, who's got the last 2, looking for number 200. Fields against Keating. 2 guys who've played a lot of lacrosse.
Wow, that's got to be a push on Albany. This is just...
Walk away! Walk away!
A really interesting scenario when you watch this replay.
I'll take the ball. Free clear. I'll take the ball. White, number 1. That's a cross check to the head. Lock him in for a minute.
That's Nanticoke. And Albany gives the momentum right back to Yale.
He clipped him high. You know, it's so difficult to legally hit your opponent when he's crouched down low over a ground ball. And that's a play now we've seen over the last month quite a bit, where the defensive player either has to drop his level really low or just utilize a 2-handed stick check.
So now Yale with the extra man. After Albany scored 2 to make it a 5-goal game. Jack Ty, junior from Long Island. Albany shutting off Ben Reeves with the short stick. Egan. Great look. And a shot wide by Brendan Rooney, the junior out of Saskatoon, who's got 6 extra man goals this season. On the doorstep, it's Rooney. His 7th man-up goal. This championship weekend appearance is special for 46 in blue. As a 10-year-old, his family decided on a whim to take a family vacation to Philadelphia, the site of the 2006 National Championship, and Brendan Rooney got his first taste of big-time lacrosse.
You know, he started earlier this season when Gaudette was in a little bit of a shooting slump in coach's doghouse. So Rooney is a proven performer this season. Comes in off the bench as a slot man, crease man, left-handed or wing shooter. But you're not going to believe these pictures. Look at him on the left as a 10-year-old in Philadelphia at championship weekend. When you dream, I was there myself, Anish. There he is as a high school level player.
High school.
The name of his team as a middle school? The Bulldogs.
That's right.
That's where he went to school. Yale, the Bulldogs. It all starts as a dream, and It's one of the cool things about championship weekend is seeing the youngsters here, and they're allowed to bring their sticks in the stadium.
Four assists now for Morrill, and with that unreleasable penalty, Yale faces off 6-on-5. Mackey flies over Erlin. Troy Ray trying to come up with it. 3-on-2 there for the Blue Shirts. Weitzel can't handle it. Alessi, the Yale football player. A whistler by Reeves as we're back to even strength.
I think Yale is different from any team we've seen this season in the depth of their defensive stable.
Yeah.
5'6" goon athletes, great speed, multi-sport athletes in high school. Smart, nasty. Seems like a different guy making a play, whether it's O'Connor, Fake, Keating.
Kark, when we were in New York City for the Ivy League tournament, you guys said it, this is not your typical Ivy League team.
No. Ton of public school kids, and they win the national championship in terms of their appearance coming off the bus. A lot like Duke used to be.
Jack Ty. Over to Cutler. Now Reeves. He loves that right wing. A lefty. Morrill's got 4 assists. Defense hung up. And a flag down.
Looks like they were face guarding Matt Gaudette and then playing a 5-man man-to-man package, and the player face guarding Gaudette ran him into the crease.
Penalty is white, 4. Interference, 30 seconds.
Chauncey Hill, the junior, whose dad is a Seneca chief.
Watch 44, left side of your screen.
Hard to get away with that one.
You look at this Yale extra man offense, the 2 lethal outside shooters. Ty, 18 in blue, and then 9, Lucas Cutler. These guys can absolutely make it hum.
Reeves over to Rooney, back to Reeves. On the doorstep, Rooney. Hashtag home and native land, the Canadian. A couple of man-up goals. And just like that, Yale's lead back to 7.
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I believe the home of Barry Melrose. Told me when he lived on a farm, all they could grow was rocks. Well, all Rooney can do is shoot BBs. Reeves picks up the assist. This is a really good extra man unit. They're slightly below 50% on the season because, as Paul said, there's a diversity of skill sets there. Outside shooters, inside guys, feeders, Morrill and Reeves, and the complement, it works well like a great taste in salad.
Erlin wins the face-off for Albany. Over to McClancy.
It's a great answer by Yale as Albany made it 12-7, Anish, and you sense that the tide was changing.
Fields over to McClancy, fakes the shot. McClancy, that pass goes right to the goalie star. And Kark, that's been the story of the game. Yale got the big lead. Every time Albany tries to make an indentation, the Bulldogs have an answer.
Absolutely, Anish, and we're talking so much about the offense, but Quint, you mentioned the D, and I added to the fact that when these guys come off the bus, they look the part. They're so physical on that end, and you know, when you're staring at guys like Nanakoke and Fields, All-Americans and huge scorers in college lacrosse, these guys are salivating to prove a point, and they're so feisty, they're so physical, they're so strong. These guys, their legs are monstrous in terms of the leverage game. They don't get pushed around.
I talked to their strength and conditioning coach before the game today. Big summer and fall focus, adding muscle. Bigger, stronger. And then the spring focus is losing the fat and becoming a great cutter and a great runner.
Here is Reeves. That one hit the side of the net. Gaudette scoops it up.
Reeves is a case study, Anish.
No question. Had a 17-inch vertical when he came to college. Doubled that after 1 year on campus.
Got a 5-man zone by Albany with a shutoff.
When your vert is 17, there's only one place to go, and that's up. 17, yikes.
Morrill, Sessa too high. Now here's the thing, 7:17 to go in this third quarter, Clint. If Yale puts this game away now on an 85-degree day, you've got a chance to rest some guys for Monday.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal to play in the first game, and then it's even more important.
Ben Reeves, he's got a hat trick.
Albany's thrown a lot of different defenses at Yale. That one was a face guarding of Matt Gaudette, and then they're trying to play like a 5-man zone. Communication in short supply. Ben Reeves takes a big step towards the title game and maybe the Tewaaraton.
And Yale with its biggest lead of this semifinal.
The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships is brought to you by Axe.
App. Here's what it looks like. Full-time Skycam on the left, traditional coverage on the right. The angle you prefer is at your command. Yale in command, largest lead of the afternoon, 15-7. Back on April 22nd, Yale ambushed Albany by 8 goals. So now plus 16 against the Great Danes in this 2018 season. Erlin has won the face-off battle. Mackey hurt his wrist in that first quarter. But Mackey's still battling out there, Paul.
You know, you guys were mentioning the depth and using some guys. The first guy in that list I'm thinking about if I'm Andy Shea is Connor Mackey. He's taken over 300 draws this year. Only 50 draws from everyone else from the Yale midfield. You got to think about resting this guy. He is banged up. His wrist is in pain.
Like clockwork, Ben Reeves with his 4th goal, his 60th of the season. And Yale continues to derail this Dane train.
That's dagger time. It starts with hustle, creating a turnover. The trail check by Weitzel. Look at the physical play. Look how strong the guys in blue are, winning every confrontation. Keating's off to the races, the former high school wrestler. Then we're going to share the ball. Alessi, a gorgeous one more pass to Reeves. The bench rejoices because everybody got a touch.
Looks like Albany right now is trying to figure something out. T.D. Erlin had to change his stick, had an equipment issue. He's back out, but I was mentioning earlier, gentlemen, Connor Mackey, every time he goes to the bench talking to coaches, and he's got a big wrap on his right wrist. He is in a lot of pain. This dude is a beast. He's so strong, fights like crazy at the X. He's a guy that has technique, but a mucker, a guy that will mix it up and scratch and claw, but you got to think about resting this guy soon.
Albany can score goals in a hurry, but a 9-goal deficit, 6:24 to go. When Yale possesses the ball, I mean, the inevitability seems there. Albany's been unable to stop Yale, unsettled, settled, 6-on-6. Man up, man down.
They've tried at least 3 different defenses, man-to-man, then a straight zone, and now they're face guarding Matt Gaudette with Egan, 43 in white, and kind of playing at 5-on-5.
So a chance for Tevlin. The ball was deflected. Sports Center tonight following softball on ESPN. Post-game reaction from the stars of Game 6. Rockets looking to go to the NBA Finals. Keys to Game 7 in Boston. LeBron and the Cavs and the Celtics. Sports Center 11 Eastern on ESPN, and hopefully some highlights from championship weekend.
We need a top 10 play.
Second semifinal, Maryland and Duke. Saved by Colarusso. Outlet to DeLuey. Maryland Duke semifinal guarantees that for a 9th straight season, either the Terps or the Blue Devils will play on Memorial Day.
Two teams of the decade. Blue Devils own 3 titles. Maryland won it last year.
And the Terps seniors with a chance to play for a championship for a 4th consecutive season. McClancy off the mark. Only 2 other teams have had a run of 4 straight championship game appearances. Syracuse from 99 to 2002. And the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays had a 9-year run where they appeared in the championship game. Eccles flips it to McClancy. Looking for Nanticoke, still scoreless today. Now Patterson. Chris Fake for the 2nd time this season has bageled Albany star freshman DeHogan Nanticoke.
That's your film study. You've seen that Albany play. That flip, the throw back behind, and then the X-cut inside. Yale was all over it. We talk about their ability in the weight room, this Bulldog team. Well, you got to put the time in the film room. And that was a subtle play where O'Connor, 17 in blue, just was all over the right-handed cut by DeHogan Nanticoke.
Here comes Patterson. See the physicality of that Yale defense. Now Nanticoke against O'Connor. I mentioned Chris Fake on Nanticoke. It's been O'Connor most of the afternoon. It was Fake in the first meeting. Yale forcing another turnover. Now they can sense it, up by 9. Now they've got the ball, and when they've had it on the offensive end, they've done whatever they wanted.
You win with defense. You win with an energetic bench. It's one thing we've seen from this group. I saw it at practice in East. We saw it in the Ivy League tournament. When they're playing well, it's 40 guys over there bouncing. Everybody is energetic, engaged, and echoing calls.
Here comes Morrill against Perla. Morrill's got 4 assists today to go along with a hat trick. Now Alessi. Eli's taking their time, 2:40 to go. 3rd quarter, semifinal number 1. The winner advances to the championship. Alessi, a couple of helpers today. Get a shot clock now on Yale. 30 seconds to get a shot on goal. Morrill picked up by Bergmaster. Morrill loses his man. Now Sessa against the short stick. Over to Reeves. Reeves working against Sims. Triple team to shoots. And Gaudette there for the backup.
Credit Sims for doing a nice job one-on-one with Reeves. The issue here is there's 4 or 5 other options for this Yale offense when 2 in blue has the ball. He's a fantastic passer. We've seen what Gaudette's done inside, but this is a pick-your-poison type of matchup when you're facing this Yale offense right now. That's the reality of it.
Albany ball off the shot clock violation. A.J. Cluck. And a timeout by the Great Danes with 1:33 to go in the 3rd. The winner of this game, and right now that appears to be Yale, barring what would be the greatest comeback in the history of this NCAA tournament. The winner of this game will move on to Monday to play in the national championship against either Maryland or Duke. Maryland and Duke, that was for a long time a great ACC matchup. They have not played since 2014.
Excited to watch Connor Kelly of Maryland play on the national stage. An attackman who can beat you with great roll dodges and he can cut a defense in half with just gorgeous vision, skip passes, and lob passes. And then there's Justin Gutterding, to me, who represents the work ethic of the modern player, a self-made player, driven, determination. He's put in the extra time, and he's carried his team now to championship weekend for the first time for that class.
That was a big hurdle for the Duke senior class. Gutterding came to campus on the heels of a run by Duke that included 8 straight semifinal appearances. And this was the first time the senior class got to championship weekend.
It was a burden, and they handled it well. They're here. Meanwhile, Maryland, I thought it was interesting when Connor told us last year's team had to deal well with the past.
Yeah.
But everything this year has been about the now and the future. It's amazing what winning a title will do.
The ghost of 1975 hid in the background for Maryland last year. Not the case this year, Paul.
Well, you look at right now what Yale's doing defensively. Quint, you mentioned they get it done in the weight room, they get it done in the classroom and film study, and Andrew Baxter, their defensive coordinator, is putting so much pressure on Albany from the standpoint that they're owning the one-on-one matchups. And when you do that defensively, it simplifies things for the rest of your defense. The 5 other guys outside of the guy guarding the ball, it's simple. We're not going to slide to the poles. We're going to make them beat us one-on-one. So the inside and Nanacoke haven't been open.
A shot there by DeHoga, but a save by Starr. Outlet to Danigelis.
Yale went zone off the timeout. I like the strategy. Keep the legs fresh.
Renz thought about it. Now pulls back.
But Starr makes a great save. It was a nice look at Andrew Baxter. I think he's one of the best in the business. Played at Springfield College. Longtime assistant out at Ohio State for Nick Myers. Yale's other assistant, Andrew Stimmel, is a former Buckeye player himself.
You mentioned Starr a moment ago, and we said this over the last few weeks when we've watched Yale. If Jack Starr can be 50% in goal, Yale becomes very difficult to beat because they have all the other pieces. And you look at their failures in the NCAA tournament this decade, winning the Ivy League tournament, having success in the Ivy, but prior to this year, one NCAA tournament win this decade. Goaltending was the issue. If Starr plays well, to be honest, if Starr is average, Yale becomes very hard to beat.
I remember Carquin when Andy Shea looked us in the eye and said, we've learned to win without goaltending around here.
Yeah, they have.
Final seconds of this third quarter. Give Ben Reeves goal number 5. The brilliance of Big Ben on display. Yale has a 10-goal advantage, Paul.
One of the keys for my game forced Ben Reeves right. Well, guess what? Albany did, and he stuck it to him. His patented left-handed rip from above goal line extended. You see how Albany's been flushing him out all afternoon with the right hand, but he set it up beautifully. He's showing you he is not a one-trick pony. So whoever plays Ben Reeves on Monday, whether it's Maryland or Duke, you got to deal with this right hand right now. You deal with the speed, you deal with the vision, the outside shot. Is there anything number 2 in blue can't do?
I got an A- in Egyptian hieroglyphics this year.
Ray fires one into the cross of Starr. 3 quarters in, and A- is the only flaw we can find for Ben Reeves. And right now, this Dane train, they've run into him. At 9-5, they got it to 12-7 early in the third quarter. And then Yale rattled off 5 straight goals. J.D. Colarusso has been taken out of the cage for the second time. The sophomore Nate Sikierski in there for Albany. The Yale attack. Ben Reeves, 5 goals, 3 assists. Jackson Morrill, 3 goals, 5 assists. And Matt Gaudette, 5 tallies. Eli's have just been unstoppable. Jack Starr has been solid in goal. And now 15 minutes away from a trip to the championship game as TD Erlin misses off the face-off win. All right, if you're Yale right now, you got a 10-goal lead. It's going to take an improbable comeback here. What do you have to guard against, Paul, in this fourth quarter?
Fatigue and finding rest for your superstars. I would have Ben Reeves, Connor Mackey, and a slew of other guys resting in this fourth quarter. It's 90-plus degrees on the turf. It's humid and hot. These guys need to rest themselves big time.
Wow. Patterson. He got dropped. Lost the stick. Fields behind the back to Patterson. There's some of that Albany wizardry which has been absent most of the afternoon.
Sports Center top play nominee. Been trying to give you a sense for just how physical Yale's defense is. Chris Fake brings the pain. Connor Fields' skill is insane. Whoop.
That's awesome. I think Fields throws one of the best behind-the-back passes I've ever seen, along with John Grant Jr., the legend from Delaware. You look at what he does. He just flips it, Quinn. He doesn't have to cock it back. No swooping motion. But how about the toughness of Jacob Patterson? He was absolutely tattooed and stayed in that plate and scored the goal.
I love Patterson, only a sophomore, Chandler, Arizona. Met him in the elevator. Albany staying in our hotel. What a humble, quiet kid. His mom's a lawyer. He was spotted by Casey Vach out in Arizona. Scotty Marr's got a good one. 17 is going to be one of the focal points of that offense next season.
Oh, yeah. And lefty, so you have Dahoga Nanakoke on the right, and you got Patterson on the left. He'll probably move down to Fields' spot. He is so smooth in regards to getting underneath his defenders, and a sweet shooting stroke as well for the sophomore.
Tevlin out of New Jersey. Over to Morrill. Now Forced. In 1990, Yale reached the semifinals, only to have their heart broken by Loyola as Sikierski makes the save, but the Eli's clean up on the rebound. Christian Krupp. Yale starting to empty the bench, but they're still scoring goals, Quint.
Sikierski makes a fantastic, just a gorgeous stop. And there's Krupp, 34 in blue, playing in only his 6th game of the year. Scores his 4th goal. Rebound, reset, boom. The life of a Division I goalie. Man, these guys are good.
Kark, we saw this version of Yale in the Ivy League semis against Penn when they scored 21 goals. And if you look at the stretch leading up to that, 16-8 win against Harvard, 14-6 against Albany, 14-4 against Marist, 27-15 against Brown, 17-7 against Dartmouth. Mackey shoots wide. 18-8 against the number 2 seed in Albany. Yeah, it looks startling, but Kark, Yale has shown this level of dominance many times through the course of the season.
There's a common denominator. Early in games, if they smell blood, they're the best team in college lacrosse, and I don't think it's close. If you can hang around with them early, if you look at the loss against Bucknell, the Cornell loss, they matched them in that first half. When they get momentum, they smell blood and they attack like no other.
It's like an avalanche. Jack Ty. Every time Albany has even whiffed a scent of a comeback, Yale has responded with a haymaker. Gaudette's got 5 goals, looking for Morrill, turned away. And the Eli's have the backup.
Hey, gents, I have a scar in regards to playing a star late in playoff games. Dylan Malloy, we saw what happened when they were up by 10 against Johns Hopkins in the tournament in 2016. Breaks his foot, blows their national championship opportunities. You're up by 10, take Ben Reeves out. There's no reason for him to be in this game right now.
Yale turns it over. Quint, what's the juncture? Is it now?
It's really up to Andy Shea. He's got to make that decision when he's going to put his starters. I think Reeves is coming out of the game right now. Not sure if it's just for this ride. you know, I like to see a coach sprinkle some third liners in individually. I hate it when they mass substitute.
Why?
Because it kills your mojo, and it's impossible for a B-level player when surrounded by other B or C-level players to do well. But you put a B with a bunch of A's, and there's no drop-off.
I agree with you, Q, but there's two guys that I think you sub, and then you can trickle those subs. It's number 2 in blue, Reeves, and it's Mackey, 21 in blue.
Agree.
Those guys have to get out.
I agree. You didn't go over that in your ride-along with Coach Shea? You guys were chowing down on pizza?
Those guys have the keys, man. They have the keys.
Noah Taylor. And that is dumped home by Ron John, the sophomore, who is one of 7 Native Americans on this Albany roster.
You look at the seniors on Albany. Connor Fields, the Ray brothers, McClancy. The future is bright. Got a guy like Nanakoke who's been held in check. Will be a superstar in college lacrosse. Patterson we've seen do damage. And then Ron John, only a sophomore, a big physical lefty midfielder. Scott Marr's got a slew of young middies in the cupboard right now, and the Danes won't be going anywhere.
3rd goal of the season for John. This freewheeling, fun-loving Albany team staring at a 9-goal deficit. 2 years in a row now, Albany's exit in the NCAA tournament will be in blowout fashion. Last year against Maryland, humbled big time in the quarterfinals. This year in the semifinals against Yale, Bulldogs up 18-9. And we wondered, how would this stage play for these two programs that have not been here? Yale, first time since 1990. Albany, first time in program history. And you know, the only team with players on its roster with championship weekend experience is Maryland. And you might be able to make the case, Quint, that based on talent, Maryland might be number 4 out of the 4 teams. But in terms of experience, that quotient is the highest of the 4 teams.
How are you going to handle it, Nish, Kark, when all week long you're walking around campus and people are patting you on the back for the first time? Albany, hey, congratulations, way to go, guys. Tough to hit the reset button the first time you're here.
Yep, Maryland, it's an expectation.
Albany taking a colossal step forward this year, Nish. This game, this experience in terms of recruiting and what's coming back next year will be basically raising the bar of the program. The next stop is a national title. They won't be judged by championship weekend appearances anymore.
But this team will be remembered for a long time as we get a shot clock against Yale. The first to break through. Ben Reeves, saved by Sirkirski.
Guy like Kyle McClancy now, a senior. They'll miss him next year. What a warrior he's been, 40 and white.
Two-way midi who rarely comes off the field, and McClancy loses his stick.
He reminds me of Syracuse's Matt Abbott about a decade ago that led the Orange. Do-it-all type player. He's going to play in the Pro League. He's done nothing but represent this program.
Tevlin Gaudet. That's 6 goals for Matt Gaudet. Bring him Thanos.
Bulldogs play at 2 speeds. Whether it's the half-court game in surgical fashion today or off of Albany turnovers, they've been terrific with odd man rushes. The Undertaker. Plant the feet, let it rip, turn and rake.
Matt Gaudet, he's got the eye black, the intense headshot. 2-time Canadian national team gold medalist with Team Ontario. 6 goals today. He had 7.
Look at that. Oh, those eyes.
Penn.
Those eyes.
In the Ivy League semis, yeah, those eyes, man. He stared daggers into you, and right now he stared 6 daggers into the back of the net. Well, Kark, if you're Yale, is there a team that you match up better against on Monday, Duke or Maryland?
I think that's the beauty of this Yale team. They really don't care. And they have like a sense of urgency, as I mentioned earlier. When they start fast, they have such an attitude. I really don't think they care. I think matchup-wise, Maryland doesn't have the depth, but Maryland will play slower.
Alex Bergmaster off the feed from Fields, 19-10.
Alex Bergmaster, freshman, two-end midi. He's going to be the next McClancy. He's going to be the next Adam Osika. He's going to be the next do-it-all guy. And watch Fields with the pinpoint feed, 5 and white, senior out of Buffalo. Kark, I want your opinion. I think Connor Fields' knee injury is a lot worse than Albany has led us to believe. And after this tournament, it wouldn't surprise me to hear that he's playing with something as bad as a torn ACL. I think he's been the ultimate warrior here, sucking this up for his team. What's your opinion?
Look, I think the injury is worse than people are talking about, and that tells you about the courage and the heart of a lion number 5 is. This kid just, his senior year, his legacy at Albany meant so much. And we saw Justin Gutterding break the record for goals in a career in NCAA history. Connor Fields, if he didn't get injured, would have shattered that. He had all those individual awards in front of him. At the time of the injury, he was the Tewaaraton winner. Hands down, he was absolutely crushing it. For what he's done to battle back from this injury, and we'll find out more of the extent of it, it's unbelievable. He's playing on one leg.
And it shows you what the lacrosse world thinks of him. Fields, despite missing 3 games with that knee injury, 3 full games, and then parts of others, still named first-team All-American.
Look at fake, miss, and just absolutely whack him in the leg, it looks like.
Yeah, this kid
Great
is
kid, Kark.
So tough.
You know, he's going to get paid to play lacrosse for a long time, indoor and outdoor. I can see him becoming a coach, though. I love his temperament.
He's amazing. He's an unbelievable person, too. I have a son who's got some special needs, and Scott Mars from my town, and he's always embraced my kids, and Connor Fields is basically like a superhero to my son, Grayson.
Save by Sakirski. Outlet to Alex Bergmaster, who scoops it up. We had a chance to spend time with Fields yesterday, showing us all the bruises and scars and the lumps all over his arm. Not a big kid. Coeur d'Alene, Lionheart. Fields looking for Davis Diamond, who has the best headshot in all of college lacrosse.
He is Harry Potter.
Harry Potter the day after Coachella. It's tremendous. Google Davis Diamond. Number 0 for Albany. We're going to ask a very important question to the players when we come back. On this Memorial Day weekend, we posed a pressing question to the players. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog a sandwich? No, hot dog is not a sandwich.
A hot dog's a sandwich because it's meat surrounded by 2 pieces of bread.
I would consider a sandwich like a deli sandwich, ham or turkey or something like that. Hot dog, I would consider just a hot dog.
I mean, I know there's buns and stuff, but no, not a sandwich. It comes in like a sub form, so I think it's a sub.
No, not at all.
T.D. Erlin seemed pretty confident and then thought about it. A hot dog's a hot dog, right?
I think a hot dog's a hot dog.
I think it's a taco more than a sandwich.
It's not a taco, Paul.
It's not a sandwich.
It's a hot dog. It's its own genre, isn't it? Its own category.
I asked the kid in the stands what he thought.
Oh, great.
He said it was a taco.
Nanticoke showing off some of his moves. It's 19-10. Yale on its way to Monday's championship game. As Noah Taylor winds around X, and now Nanticoke still looking for his first point. 5 shots, no goals. 14 shots this season against Yale without a goal, but De Hoga dents the box score with that one. The America East Rookie of the Year, the #1 player coming out of high school. Like a minotaur when he gets going, just hasn't had that opportunity this afternoon.
Fantastic season. Right now he's locked up with Chris Fake. It's the best freshman offensive player going against the best freshman defensive player. Watch the two-handed cradle, the use of the shoulder and elbow there. The way he uses his power.
You know what impresses me so much is when he's losing that angle, the last second, he puts the head of his stick across his face to increase his angle. That's like shooting lefty, or it's like shooting behind the back. The hands of De Hoga Nanticoke are his most underrated attribute. They're so soft.
We talked to him yesterday, and he credited a lot of his development, not just as a lacrosse player, but as a person, with his older brother Chauncey, who's 10 years Nanticoke's elder. And De Hoga was telling us a story we told you in the first half. They used to play in the driveway, and Nanticoke had about a 2-foot section of brick above his garage where he would play wall ball. And other times he had a small goalie stick. And his big brother, again 10 years older, would just fire balls at Nanticoke's head. And De Hoga said, I had 3 options. Catch it, get hit, or if the ball hit the garage, I got yelled at by my mom. He told us his brother Chauncey has been the father figure in his life as Fake getting greedy. De Hoga's dad now back in his life after exiting for some time. Mom Catherine's done a phenomenal job raising a young man who is certainly proud of his heritage and is the future of this Albany lacrosse team.
De Hoga means fast.
In Mohawk.
He can play fast, graceful at times, rough. All the characteristics of this game. Says, I want to spread the medicine of this game and everything that comes with it.
Meanwhile, Yale still has its starting attack in the game. Reeves gone dead. Morrill all out on the field. Kark, what do you make of that?
I think it's ridiculous. I really do. I don't see the benefit of it. What's the benefit of it? Look, you guys know?
Kark, we've seen teams show up Monday on Memorial Day sapped and gassed and out of energy. I mean, I attribute 2 Maryland losses earlier this decade to just having no gas in the tank when they scored 3 goals in one loss and 5 in the next loss.
Forced 20 goals for Yale.
Yale's deep. You know, Forrest is a second or maybe third line midi. So they're making some subs. But the stars are still out there for the Bulldogs. Ted Forrest, Kark, were you on the phone when I asked? I said, Coach Shea, who's this guy Forrest that we saw last week? Has he been hurt? Where's he been? Because he was eye-catching. He's a really good player. He just couldn't crack the lineup the first half of the season. And that kind of gives you an indication of just how deep and quality-laden this group is.
He's one of those guys that every time you put him on the field, he makes plays, and Andy Shea laughed about it and said, he's making me look stupid because he scores when he's out there. Look, we talk about being gassed. That's one thing. But you're up by 9 goals. I'm worried about these guys getting injured if I'm a Yale fan.
Mackey's still out there on the face-off.
Reeves has been removed.
Reeves is out of the game. Morrill and Gaudet still in there.
Ben should have a seat in the ice bath, maybe get his cell phone and call his brother who's in Africa on an archaeological dig. Unable to watch this game.
Ben Reeves with a 9-point afternoon. 5 goals, 4 assists.
Kind of a quiet 9, right?
The great ones do, right? That's what the great ones do.
Didn't touch it a lot. Ball went into his cross. Magical things happened for Yale, but he's a Tewaaraton finalist, as is Connor Kelly and Justin Gutterding. The Tewaaraton Award, the Heisman of Lacrosse, factors in how you do in the postseason. Alessi, that one hit the pipe. You get the feeling, at least I did, that Reeves was the front runner coming to championship weekend. I think he's still at the top of the list.
I would agree with you.
But whatever happens on Monday may decide who ends up with the trophy.
You think of lifetime achievement, too. He's a 3-time finalist, so it's not like he's just captured this greatness his senior year. Multiple-time Ivy League Player of the Year, bringing Yale to championship weekend for the first time since 1990. I think it's Reeves.
The 20 goals by Yale, the most scored in a semifinal since Syracuse dropped 20 on Virginia. Paul, you want to guess what year that was? Come on.
1990?
1995. You were on that team.
Dude, the Cuse offense. 20 was the expectation at times. Playing for Coach Roy Simmons Jr., who Scott Marr reminds me a lot of like. I mean, he just lets his boys play and doesn't overcomplicate the system, but championship teams are run with culture and character, and that 95 team I was on had it all. We didn't have the stars of the 94 team, but more chemistry and guys stepping up, coming out of nowhere, and great senior leadership.
This Yale team is going to be hard to beat on Monday. When they play with the type of dragon fire they brought today, they're as good as anybody. We saw that at times throughout the season. That stretch after the loss to Bucknell all the way until the Ivy League semi against Penn. I mean, this team was Voltron.
That Cornell loss in the Ivy League final. Ben Reeves told us, what was the lesson? Humility.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the needed spice prior to the playoffs. A little slap, slap, slap wake-up call.
The men's lacrosse championship game is Monday at 1 Eastern on ESPN2. We know Yale will be a participant, and the Bulldogs will face either Maryland or Duke, our second semifinal, coming your way about 35 minutes after the conclusion of this one. Chris Cotter, Matt Ward, Ryan Boyle standing by in the studio to break down this dominant Yale victory as we get a shot clock in the Eli's. They'll look ahead to the Terps and the Blue Devils.
What's the drive from New Haven, Clark, up here to Foxborough? Clark, what's the drive from New Haven?
He's getting a hot dog.
New Haven to Foxborough?
Yeah.
2 hours, but
we got
some pizza. You put some pizza in the back seat, man. New Haven's the mecca for pizza.
Less than 30 seconds to go. Our statistician Russ DeLynn tells us it's a 2-hour, 5-minute drive. So that's about an hour 20 for Clark.
Hope to see all the Yale fans on Monday at 1.
Yale still playing hard until the end. Final 5 seconds of semifinal number 1. The Bulldogs with a resounding 9-goal win against Albany. And Yale will play for the championship on Memorial Day.